I pulled into this brand new national forest that I've never been to before at around 2:30, 3 p.m. It's the Ocala National Forest in Florida, and it was incredibly difficult for me to find a campsite here. I wasn't able to actually find something and begin pulling into it until 4 or 5 p.m. The sun was just starting to set as I was pulling into this campsite. And so I set up as quickly as I could outside because, I was racing the setting sun, but I did something different this time while setting up that I don't usually do, and leveling my trailer side to side. Instead of pulling up onto leveling blocks, I decided to dig out the side that was higher just because the ground here is a really soft sand, super easy to dig, and I would rather my trailer be lower than higher off the ground. It's just a personal preference of mine, and so when I'm on really easy to dig out ground like I am now, I usually prefer to do that. But man, is it beautiful here. I'm really excited to explore this national forest. It's the first national forest I've ever been to in Florida, and it is like an ATVer's, like an off-roader's paradise. But I've got some projects that I need to work on the trailer. It's kind of falling apart in some places. I'll go ahead and show you that tomorrow when I work on it. And there are some springs in the area, quite a few springs in the area. And so I think I'm going to check those out too, because Thomas with Happily Wherever After on YouTube, he lives here in Florida. He's from here. And he said, before you leave Florida, you gotta check out the springs. And so I'm gonna check those out while I'm here because Thomas knows what he's talking about. And so for the rest of the night, sweetie are just gonna relax and, kind of get ready for bed. She's already tired. She's been falling asleep. So I'm excited for tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful and peaceful day here in the Ocala National Forest in Florida. And I don't know why, but I woke up this morning really craving a grilled cheese sandwich. So I decided to make that and pair it with some soup. I know this isn't the most creative breakfast there is, but I was just really looking to satisfy my craving, and after yesterday's travel day, I just wanted to take it easy this morning and make something nice and simple for breakfast. A grilled cheese and soup, though, just really takes me back to childhood because that's what my mom would make for me and my brother on those cold winter mornings. Gotta dip it into the soup. That is so good. And surprisingly, it's a really cold morning here in Florida. It's currently 46 degrees out. The high today is only 55 degrees and the low is gonna be 33 degrees, just 1 degree above freezing. I'm not complaining though because the humidity is super low right now. And last week, the highs were in the mid to upper 80s and it was just so humid. I mean, honestly, that's how it's been ever since I got to Florida. So having that heat wave move out and have this cold front move in is actually really refreshing. Are you begging for my food, dog? You already had your breakfast. You already ate. Get out of here. Go on. Go on. No, sweetie, go. Get. Can a man enjoy his meal in peace, please? I decided to tilt my solar panels up since we're still in February, and having them flat on the roof of my trailer greatly reduces how much solar input I have coming in, especially when the sun's lower on the horizon, like in the morning and the evening. And so, yeah, I just decided to tilt them up so that I could maximize how much power I'm bringing in through my solar panels. And before I tilted them up, I was bringing in 30 amps, which is pretty decent for me, but that's really only during midday when the sun's at its peak. Once it starts to drop, my, you know, that number is gonna drop as well. But once I tilted them up, my solar input jumped up to 40 amps, which is a 33% increase from 30 amps. That's massive. And the percentage is going to be even greater in the morning and in the evening, because since they're tilted up, I'll be bringing in solar power as soon as the sun comes over the horizon and all the way until the sun dips below the horizon. With them flat on my roof, I really don't start to bring in any power until like 10 a.m. once the sun starts to climb a little bit and it can strike those flat panels. So yeah, having them tilted up like this, even though it takes me a little bit of time, you know, between 30 minutes and an hour to tilt them up, it's definitely worth it, because then I can switch my fridge over to electric, which will save me a lot on propane, and I can probably run it on electric overnight now that I have those larger batteries that we just installed as well. Also, this is kind of irrelevant, but I think they just look awesome tilted up as well, just from the ground. I love just looking at them. I think they're beautiful. And now with them up like this, I don't have to worry about power one bit. Real quick though, I want to tell you guys about a device that I think all RVers and travelers should have, just in case they get into a pinch, and that is a portable lithium jump starter like this one from YESPER. When your RV or vehicle breaks down in the middle of nowhere, there's not always someone nearby to help you jumpstart your vehicle, and so having one of these on hand can be crucial. This jump starter sets itself apart from the rest because it has a massive 58 amp hour lithium battery, and so you can jumpstart a ton of vehicles on just a single charge, or you can use that capacity with the USB ports that it has to charge up your devices like your cell phone, tablets, whatever. This jump starter is super easy to use. All you have to do is press any button to turn it on, and then connect the black lead to the negative terminal and the red lead to the positive terminal. And you can see the indicator light for a 12-volt system came on, so it is currently jump starting the battery. So just turn the vehicle on and then disconnect the leads from your battery, and that's it. This jump starter can automatically identify 12 volt and 24 volt vehicles and switch the starting voltage automatically. It's suitable for all cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, RVs, tractors, ATVs, UTVs, lawnmowers, snowmobiles, anything. And with a 6,000 amp peak starting current, it's suitable for all sizes of gasoline and even diesel engines. And you have two ways to charge this. You can either use any USB-C cable to slow charge it like what you would do with the other brands, but YESPER sets itself apart by also including a AC adapter that allows you to fast charge this from 0 to full in only 1.5 hours. And it also has a built-in light that you can cycle through various functions just in case you don't have a light on you when you're trying to jumpstart your vehicle. But big thanks to YESPER for sponsoring this video. I'll go ahead and drop links in the video description below in case you guys want to check this out for yourself. But now back to the video. So you guys know my travel trailer is always just trying to fall apart, and I just have to constantly keep repairing it to keep this thing going. And the latest thing is that this whole panel to my my like kitchen cabinetry just, you know, came off. And I'm gonna put it back on, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tap the staples back in, but you can see that's what's behind it. This is just a decorative board, and I think the reason this is happening is just everything is flexing like crazy as I go down roads, especially these dirt roads in the national forest. This whole trailer twists so much, and so yeah, the wood just pops out. So yeah, I'm gonna just tap in the staples all along the perimeter. I think sometime within the next year or two, I'm gonna have to completely tear out this entire floor kitchen cabinetry and completely redo it, because the wood that it's constructed of is just falling apart. It's breaking, and the countertop itself is warping. You can see it's not flat at all. It's got this big bow in it. There's another section that's taken on some water damage and it's swelled up just because it's made of particle board, and it if it comes into contact with water, it's like a sponge and soaks it all up and expands. And there's another section where the cabinet has separated from the wall. A few years ago, the entire oven just fell out of where it's mounted to. It pulled the screws right out and fell out, and I had to remount it with larger screws. And so I think I'm gonna need to redo this, and I'm kind of excited about that because I can make it look better and be more functional. I'll probably remove that stove and use that dead space then for more storage, and probably just go with a gas cooktop, or maybe even an induction cooktop. And that would also give me the opportunity to fix one of the biggest gripes I have with this trailer, and that's that there's a section that is slightly lower than the rest of the kitchen countertop, and it's just really annoying. Like, why not have it all be the same height? And so, yeah, if I redid that, then I could make that all on the same level, and it would just be more usable and better overall. All right, there. It's a lot more stable than it was. I doubt that's gonna hold. If it comes loose again before I redo all this, which it probably will, then I'll probably just end up running some screws in, and which I've had to do in some other places where they were previously just stapled. I just ran in some screws and they've held ever since. So yeah, I mean, with all the flexing, staples just don't really hold. The next thing I want to accomplish today is replacing the vinyl trim on the back of my trailer. It has ripped in two spots, one on the corner that runs vertically up to the roof on my off door side, and another that runs horizontally across the entire arc of the back of my trailer. There's 7 places on the outside of my trailer that this vinyl trim goes on, and it covers up the screws that hold on the corner trim that seals the corners of the trailer together to prevent water intrusion from between where the walls meet and where the ceiling meets the walls also. At least once a year I have to replace one of these 7 vinyl trim pieces because they just become brittle in the sunlight, and they expand when it gets hot and they contract when it gets cold, and so that heat cycling plus the sun just making them brittle causes them to crack over time. And it's really important to stay up on this maintenance, because if you don't, then it's gonna allow water to get to that hardware, rust it out, and maybe even start to sink in under those screws. I also make sure just to check that all of the screws are tight, and if any of them have backed out a lot, then I'll take them out completely and run a little bit of die-core in the threads, run them back in just to make sure they seal. But thankfully none of my screws needed that this time around. But yeah, this is a really easy job. It only takes about 30 minutes. So yeah, if you have this kind of corner vinyl trim, just make sure you're staying up to date on it. I did plan ahead a little bit and bought a brand new tube of die-core lap sealant, because you do have to use die-core up on the roof and seal where that vinyl trim ends, because that's just a flat surface. You don't want any rain getting in right there because it'll just kind of sit in there. But unfortunately, I didn't think far enough ahead to get another roll of this vinyl trim. This is all I have left after doing this corner. So unfortunately, I don't have enough to do this edge right here. I thought I did, but I don't, but it's okay. I did this one first because it's more critical, because it's got that flat surface where rain can just kind of pool in there, where this was broken. This horizontal surface that, faces this way isn't as critical, so I'm gonna order another one of these, so I'll have plenty to do the rest of this job. I'm just glad I'm done getting up on the roof for the day, honestly. Check out this pit that is super close to my campsite. I don't know if it was some sort of excavation or a sinkhole or what the heck formed this. All I know is that for off-roading and on my ATV, it is super fun. And I've seen Jeeps, 4x4 trucks, people on side-by-sides just tearing through here also. This is a lot of fun and beautiful too. The sand is all sorts of different colors. And yeah, this was just really interesting formation to come across when I first was coming into my campsite. From satellite view, I couldn't tell what this was, but in person, it's awesome. But after tearing through there and having some fun, I wanted to go down and check out the Big Scrub campground because like I drove past this on my way in, but I didn't stop. I didn't stop to check and look at anything because, I just didn't want to stay in a campground. I was really craving being off-grid, dispersed camping again after staying in the Everglades. Just campgrounds aren't really my thing, but yeah, I still wanted to come and check it out because it looked completely empty and that piqued my interest. And now that I'm here, I know why. It's because apparently there is a naval range nearby where they do air-to-ground bombing testing and training using F-18 Hornets, and apparently this is the only naval range of its kind on the East Coast, and they close down a very large area of the Ocala National Forest when they're doing those exercises. And I'm happy to find out that, oddly enough, my campsite is literally just outside of that closed area, so I'm good. I don't have to leave. That would really stink coming here and finding out that where I'm camped is closed, and so I'm good, but I got really lucky. I'm like literally right outside the closed area. But I am getting kind of a weird vibe from this campground. I honestly can't tell if it's still open sometimes or if it's permanently closed. I haven't checked online, but some parts of it are just super dilapidated and falling apart. Other parts of it look sort of modernized. It's hard to tell, but yeah, there's like a lot of parts of it that are just falling apart, crumbling away, not being maintained at all. Maybe this place is open sometimes. Even the camp host area, the electric isn't hooked up and the water isn't on. And so, yeah, I'd be surprised if they just closed it down temporarily just for a couple weeks while they're doing the military training. And during that time, they cut the water and unhooked the camp host's electric. I'm not really sure, but I mean, it's a really nice, big, open campground. So I don't know. I bet they still operate it. Exploring the national forests is one of the greatest joys I get from traveling like this. I just came from the Everglades, and the national parks are great and all, but honestly, the national forests just have so much more of a special place in my heart than the parks do, because you just get you can do kind of whatever you want in the national forest. You can explore the way you want for the most part. The national parks have a lot more rules, and it's good that they do because those are just like highly conserved areas. The national forests aren't as conserved because, you know, they're the land of many uses. But that freedom of exploration I have in the national forest is just very special to me. I like the forest because it kind of shows you what the area would be like if humans hadn't settled in that area, whereas the national parks are like these hyper unique and really epic places, and so you don't really get that more mundane feel, that kind of more everyday landscape feel from the parks that you do from the forests. This is just, I don't know, today exploring was really special for me. And, you know, just like riding the ATV out through these trails where Florida is showing just how much of an absolute jungle it is here in the Ocala National Forest. You know, just riding until I come across this natural spring. It's just a really cool feeling riding around and then finding this place and being like, wow, this is, I don't know, it's just really beautiful. And it's just me out here. There are no crowds. I couldn't even tell you where the nearest person is to me right now. And I don't know. Exploration days like this are just very special to me. And there are these teeny tiny little frogs that are chirping and adding this perfect ambiance and music to my short time here. For dinner tonight, I am cooking up probably my favorite pasta recipe. It's a butter garlic fettuccine with shrimp and mushrooms. What I love so much about this type of pasta is that the sauce uses a lot of butter and milk and flour, and when all of those ingredients are mixed together, it becomes really thick and creamy. Toss in a little bit of salt and pepper to taste with some chopped up parsley as well, and this is perfect. Chopped up mushrooms and shrimp is my favorite. I cook those in a skillet separate with some butter in there too, just to add some butter flavor to them. And that's it. This is a super easy recipe to make, and let me tell you, it is absolutely delicious with this super creamy sauce. All right, I am super excited to eat this. I love this meal so much. The sauce is so buttery and creamy, and then the shrimp with the mushrooms is just absolutely perfect. Oh, that is so good. This has got to be my favorite pasta dish, or like pasta type. It's like creamy butter garlic, and it's just so easy to make. It's really good. This is the perfect way to end the night. Well guys, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching, you know, my life and a little bit of exploration here in the Ocala National Forest. I really like it here. It's only been a few days, but this National Forest has really surprised me in a really great way. It's my first national forest ever in Florida, and I love it so far. But if you guys liked the video and you want to buy me a beer, you can do that through this QR code, or there's a link in the video description below too. But Sweetie and I are gonna go to bed, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Sweetie girl, say bye. Good girl. Good girl. Good night, guys.